So when doing research on the first part of this show, I did find a video that I will leave in the description down below and play a percentage of that just shows you kind of the issues when it comes to misinformation as well.
Misinformation. The greatest perpetrator of misinformation during the pandemic has been the United States government. Misinformation that COVID was spread through surface transmission, that vaccinated immunity was far greater than natural immunity, that masks were effective. Now we have the definitive Cochrane review. What do you do with that review? Cochrane is the most authoritative evidence body in all of medicine and has been for decades. Do you just ignore it, not talk about it? That myocarditis was more common after the infection than the vaccine. Not true. It's 4 to 28 times more common after the vaccine. That young people benefit from a booster. Misinformation. Our two top experts on vaccines quit the FDA in protest over this particular issue, pushing boosters in young, healthy people. The data was never there. That's why the CDC never disclosed hospitalization rates among boosted Americans under age 50. The vaccine mandates would increase vaccination rates. The George Mason University study shows it didn't. It did one thing. It created never vaxxers who are now not getting the childhood vaccines they need to get. Over and over again, we've seen something that goes far beyond using your best judgment with the information at hand. We've seen something which is unforgivable, and that is the weaponization of medical research itself. The CDC putting out their own shoddy studies, like their own study on natural immunity, looking at one state for 2 months, when they had data for years on all 50 states. Why did they only report that one sliver of data? Why did they salami slice the giant database? Because it gave them the result they wanted. Same with masking study. Well, the data has now caught up in giant systematic reviews, and the public health officials were intellectually dishonest. They lied to the American people. Thank you.
And basically this video came from a doctor who was speaking in what I believe is a Congress area, or what kind of, speaking to some level of mid to high level US government area. And the video basically implied that the US government, and I imagine European governments and also the UK government potentially as well, was misrepresenting or lying about how bad or what was necessarily how bad COVID was, but also how it spread, and really key important bits of information during the pandemic that would have and also regarding the vaccines as well, how safe they were potentially, how non-safe they were, what the issues were for specific groups, etc. It's quite damning in the report. If the report ends up being true, again, it's still to be fact-checked, it's still to be looked at. And just so we're clear, I'm talking about the potential damage that having that reality take place could be for the average person. And I'm not saying that I'm an anti-vaxxer, because I'm not, but also saying that surely we need to follow the science when it comes to an unknown illness, especially regarding COVID in that respect as well. And we had those lockdowns, and should we follow the science in those lockdowns and do that maybe a better choice or a better look at when it comes to looking at the overall picture, looking at, of course, at health, but also, of course, at the financial strain that lockdowns potentially did cause in COVID as well. But this video specifically, if true, was pretty damning in the respect to the information, and it did point to some more research that has really come out more recently about those facts that the US government was portraying, and I'll leave it down in the description down below. And of course, like anything else in the show, I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section down below.